Thank you, Presiding Officer. I'd like to begin by thanking Rona Mackay for securing this debate this evening and join her and welcoming representatives from Teenage Cancer Trust to the Parliament. And I hope to get along to the reception tomorrow evening. I am convening a CPG, but I hope I can catch the last few minutes of it. I think it's the work at Teenage Cancer Trust is absolutely fantastic in providing services, care and support. We know across the UK there's 28 specialist units in the principal treatment centres for cancer. The one that serves my constituency in the west of Scotland is, of course, at the Beatson west of Scotland at Gartnavel. But as well as that, across the UK, they provide 48 nurses and youth support coordinators. And 118,000 young people have been reached through the face-to-face engagements. And I think the points that Rona Mackay makes about having to increase awareness, and I certainly wasn't aware of the work that Teenage Cancer Trust did in the outreach work and going into schools until I was preparing for this debate. And I'll certainly take that away and engage with schools in my own constituency of Renfrewshire South to find out if they are aware of these schemes and to encourage them to engage with the Teenage Cancer Trust. I also want to recognise the many people who dedicate their time and contribute in doing fundraising and supporting Teenage Cancer Trust. In particular, I just would like to make mention to a constituent of mine from Neilston in Renfrewshire South, Sean McBain. Sean's now 34, but he's originally from Torry in Aberdeen. And when he was 20, he was, like many young folk, outgoing, energetic, played in a band and was a singer as well. And he was diagnosed with a tumour on his tongue. And certainly for anyone, and particularly for any singer, that would be a terrifying prospect. And he speaks, and when he's written about what that experience was like, the fear, the uncertainty, the lack of knowledge of what would happen. However, he was able to have a successful operation to remove the tumour along with his lymph nodes. And he was able to go on and make a full recovery. And what he did some years later in his early 30s is he engaged in some fundraising for Teenage Cancer Trust. And what he did is he wrote and recorded and uploaded a song every single week for an entire year. And in the course of doing so, I understand raised nearly £6,000. And I was delighted to be able to recognise Sean's fantastic efforts and works in a parliamentary motion last year. I think there's a certain point Rona Mackay raised about the engagement with young people to make them aware of signs and symptoms, which is very important. But clearly a big issue as well is about the preventative agenda. We do know that 40% of cancers are preventable. Now, I understand that 30,000 cancer diagnoses are made each year in Scotland, so that means about 12,000 potentially are preventable. And we know what some of the key causes are that are preventable. We know smoking, obesity, poor diet, excessive alcohol consumption, UV, due to excessive sunlight, and of course lack of exercise. And so I welcome some of what was featured in the Scottish Government's obesity strategy consultation, in particular the need to be tough on advertising of junk food. I mentioned smoking there. I'm just about old enough to remember the last adverts on television for cigarettes, for cigars, back some 28 years ago. I think the way our generation looks back in past generations with regard to the pervasiveness of tobacco through advertising and in films, I think that perhaps future generations will look back with equal shock at the pervasiveness of junk food and sugary sweets and confectioneries and of accessibility, and how that is contributing towards the health crisis that we face today on issues such as diabetes too, and also leading to obesity and the risks of cancer that follow from that. So I just want to again, in conclusion, thank Rona Mackay for bringing this important debate to the Chamber.
Thank you.